Welcome back to the 1000 subscribers special. If you didn't see part 1, I would recommend you go watch that first so you have some kind of idea what's going on. As I mentioned before, I was a YouTuber with a few different channels. One of my most recent attempts at a channel was doing video game, anime, manga reviews, just pretty much being a reviewer but trying to gather a bunch of different YouTubers together. I figured on our own we were pretty small, but if I could get a bunch of different reviewers together, then we could have one huge hub of a channel and everybody would build rather quickly. I went into this with a partner figuring if there were two of us, then dealing with everything would be a lot easier, but things kind of fell through with the partner. He didn't really upload anything, he wasn't really interested, so I ended up closing down the project because it was too big a feat to take on myself. I could probably pull something like that off now, but I'm pretty happy with where I'm at. What I'm going to show you guys here is the very first live-action anime review I ever did. First off, I gotta preface, I know it's not very good. I was inconsistent, I was trying way too hard to be funny, and it just didn't come out very well. But looking back on it gives me a few laughs, so we're going to go ahead and look at it together. The anime I'm reviewing is called School Days, and I still hold it up as one of the worst anime I've ever seen. So without further ado, please enjoy Kudou's very first anime review. One last note, please remember that my old nickname used to be Cyberlink, so don't get confused.
Hiya, it's Cyberlink, and I'd like to talk to you about an anime called School Days. Now, personally, I think this is one of the worst anime ever made, and after doing some research, it turns out that everybody agrees with me. So, because so many people have already done a review of this anime, and beaten it to death way better than I possibly could, I figure I'm going to try something a little more productive. So, I noticed that there are a lot of story points that a lot of reviewers kind of missed watching it, or they just didn't include it in their review. So, instead of just flogging a dead horse, I'm going to see if I can touch on some of the story points and see if I can bring something else to the table. So, let's stop talking and see what we can do. Now, a lot of people who watch the show are going to think, well, this is where the story begins, and rightfully so, as these are the two main characters, and this is the first part of their little love connection. However, this is not where the story begins, this is just where the anime begins. So we're going to jump forward a bit and take a look at what actually transpired before this to lead up to the series of events that we're going to talk about. Ladies and gentlemen, I present Setsuna. Now, Setsuna is the first person to have fallen in love with Makoto. Now, why haven't very many people talked about this? Well, it's probably because this anime has done the worst job possible of explaining it. But I'll try to give you the gist. Setsuna was bullied during her first semester, and Makoto saved her. Makoto then made her feel better, thus she started developing feelings for him. And instead of just confronting him about the feelings, she gets kind of shy and instead kind of sends her best friend Sakai after him, figuring that, instead of her trying to go after him and possibly getting rejected, she would just send Sakai, and if it worked great, she got to be his friend. If it didn't work, well then she didn't really lose anything. The problem here is that Sakai has seen another girl as his phone's background and has figured, well, she's a lot prettier than I am, and pretty much does the exact same thing that Setsuna does. Instead of her trying to go after Makoto, possibly getting rejected because she thinks he has feelings for this other girl, she decides to play matchmaker, hook him up with the girl that she thinks he really likes, and then just settle for being able to be his friend. Now that we know what leads up to this, the beginning of the story looks a little bit different. So, Sakai's a dating genius and has successfully set Katsura and Makoto up for a very successful relationship, and I'm sure there will be absolutely no repercussions from her actually setting the guy that she likes up with this other girl. Awkward. Well, this can only lead to good things. Well, I guess the whole setting him up with another girl thing wasn't the greatest of ideas. So, let's see, how can I go about this in a way that I'll still be able to get to spend time with Makoto, but I won't be taking him away from Katsura. I've got it. So here's what I'll do. I'll be his stand-in girlfriend for a little while, and I'll let him do things to me that he would normally do to a girlfriend. Not only is he getting practice for what he wants to do with Katsura, and will be better at it with Katsura, but I also get time to spend with the guy I like, and I get to be his pretend girlfriend. As long as I don't take it too far, there really shouldn't be any kind of whoopsie daisies. Looks like this was another plan foiled by my raging hormones. You know, that's weird. We're about halfway through the series, and the one thing I haven't seen yet is a beach epic. Oh, yeah! There it is! Okay, so I've kind of been trying to avoid it up until now, but you see this guy? This is our comedy relief. And don't worry, they're subtle about his comedy reliefness. Thank you for that boner shot, anime. That was not only completely necessary, but also totally hilarious. Back in Plotland, we are now left with a problem. Katsura and Makoto are going out over here. Sakai and Makoto are going out behind Katsura's back. Now, any logical person would know exactly how to handle this situation. Makoto could either sit Sakai down and say, Sakai, thank you so much for everything you've done for me. And I'm beginning to see just how much you really care for me. But I really don't want to screw things up with Katsura. The relationship's still pretty new, and I really want to hold on to this. So I think it's best if we just go back to being friends so that nothing goes wrong between me and Katsura. Or he could sit Katsura down and say, Katsura, I'm really glad you decided to go out with me. I had a really great time dating you. But I'm afraid that I've developed quite a strong connection with Sakai, and I really don't think it's fair to go out with you while I have such strong feelings for another girl like this. Wow, that sure was difficult. Granted, yes, one of them is going to be very, very angry at him for a while, but putting it off is only going to make things easier. Okay, Japanese high school anime. What are we missing? Alright, we've got the love triangle. Okay, we've already got that. The beach episode. Yeah, we did that a little while back. I feel like there's one cliche to slice of life animes that just hasn't been introduced yet. School festival arc. School festival. How on earth did I miss that? So, for the time being, the whole love triangle thing pretty much goes like this. Sakai and Makoto are pretty much at this point going out, and they just haven't really said anything to anybody yet. So, conversations between Katsura and pretty much every other character at this school that can clearly tell what's going on go something like this. Hey, Katsura, I hear you're single now. No, I'm not, I'm dating Makoto. I'm pretty sure he's dating Sakai. Nuh-uh. Well, he was totally grabbing her butt at the pool. Nuh-uh. Well, they were totally doing it on the roof. Nuh-uh. Well, they're totally holding hands right over there. Nuh-uh. Oh yeah, Setsuna. Man, this entire thing started with her, and yet we haven't really seen much of her. Has she finally just kind of given up? Just kind of decided to give up and let Sakai hello? Well, at least it possibly couldn't get any more awkward than it already is. Snap. Nice one. Let's just get back to the festival, shall we? Now, this is the scene that if you really want to understand the anime, you have to pay attention to. And it's a scene that a lot of people kind of glazed over because, well, let's face it, this hasn't really been grade A anime so far. And people feel like they already kind of understand what's going on. But if you pay attention to this scene, then all of the things that I said at the beginning of this review this is where it came from. The idea here is Setsuna is watching a play about this. I don't even know what it's about, but the basic idea of it is this one guy is like, look, I found a flower, I'm going to give it to you, and this way you and I will be connected. Rather, I want you to be connected to me, but I feel like if I give you this flower, that you will like me because I gave you something pretty. Quick review break, because there's actually a scene that it's got really no relevance to the plot whatsoever. It's not a very important scene, it's not a very long scene, but it's my favorite scene, and it's one that I want you to keep in the back of your mind, because I'm probably going to bring it up again. Delightful. Now, after being rightfully kicked out of the area where everybody's trying to get some work done, he ends up meeting with, I would say, a middle school pal. And the conversation between them pretty much goes something like this. Would you go on a date with me around the school? Ballin'. Boy, that was fantastic. Well, I choose Sakai. Okay, bye. I hate this anime. So apparently this bonfire thing is a pretty big deal. If you dance with somebody at it, then you are destined to last forever. But that's not the big scene here. The big scene is what's going on right here. What the heck happened? So for those of you who haven't actually watched this anime, here's a pretty quick recap of what's going on right now. He chose Sakai. He's outside dancing with Sakai, but his best friend, the comedy relief character, is inside of that building, totally confessing his love to Katsura, which is fine, but then just right there in the middle of the building, like, she doesn't say anything, she doesn't give any kind of reaction to his I love yous, but, like, he for some reason just does her. Yeah, that's right. The scene pretty much goes something like this. Makoto. I love you. Makoto. So, you want to do it? Makoto. She technically didn't say no. Also, this is a pretty dark scene if you think about it. Let's go ahead and bring the scene into perspective. You have Katsura. Katsura, after finding a guy that she finally liked, and thinking to herself, you know what? I'm the bad guy for not wanting to be more active with him, trying to take the step to the next level of relationship, and you know what I mean by that. And she just found out that he was sneaking behind her back with the person that set her up and gave her the confidence to do this in the first place. Now, while she's learning all of this, and all of this is hitting her all at once, she gets sexually assaulted by her boyfriend's best friend, who happens to be the ugliest person in the entire show, and he just flat out rapes her totally unwilling body while she's screaming somebody else's name, and he's continuously saying I love you into her ear. That's pretty messed up. Oh, denial. I'm sorry. I can't go out with you, ugly best friend of my ex-boyfriend, because, I still believe in our relationship and stuff. Yeah. And you should probably forget about what happened last night. I know I will. Now, we get this scene, which is pretty much Katsura coming up with a conspiracy theory as to what's going on, and then this kiss happens, and she's just kind of like, whoa. Yeah, but now Sakai's gonna be angry at you, and Setsuna's like, psh, so? That's how it is. What are you gonna do about it, Katsura? And Katsura just kind of shuts up. I have to admit, that was well played, Setsuna. The only problem I have with this scene is Makoto, I guarantee you, is not looking at this like, wow, Setsuna just saved my butt. He's thinking about this more like, wow, does this mean I'm gonna get to bone Setsuna too? 1 second, reality. Sex with Otome. BRB. So this is going to set up our climax. Pretty much, Setsuna's moving and she needs somebody to look after Sakai. And what is Makoto's reaction to hearing this? Strong argument. And Setsuna's counter argument? F this anime. To be fair, Setsuna's idea here is that if I let him sleep with me, then he'll get to blow off some steam, and he'll finally settle down and actually commit to Sakai. That way, he can look after Sakai while I'm gone. Admittedly, not the wisest move on your part, Setsuna. Okay, wait a minute, who's that? Oh! Oh, I recognize that hairstyle. That's the chick that likes the comedy relief character. Well, that's weird. Is this just some random fan service? I saw some movement in her bed. Did the comedy relief character get laid? Is that... Really? Really? Now, this scene in particular makes me rage. I know I didn't find a version of this with subtitles, so let me go ahead and translate what's going on here and what they're saying. So, she invited him over to make Sakai feel better, because Sakai has just found out that Setsuna moved. And literally, the first thing she says as soon as she gets up and after she's done fixing her hair is, wow, I brought you over here to make Sakai feel better, and now even I'm sleeping with you. Wah 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 wah. Alright, so really quickly, let's go ahead and check on our main characters. We already know how Makoto's doing. How are you, Sakai? Ooh. Katsura?
で待ち合わせしましょう。そして私たち本当の恋人になるんです。
Your phone's not even on anymore. That's pretty depressing. So, whoa, I'm sorry. What were you doing while we were doing this, Makoto?
ようこそ。
たくん、本気なんだ。
Foursome, of course. They're side characters. You're not even trying anymore. Oh my god. Just wish somebody would stab you or something. What makes this scene even better is that girl that just showed up. Let me go ahead and translate what she's saying right now. She's saying something the equivalent of, you know, now that I'm here, I kind of don't want to do this. I think I'm starting to have regrets. And the girls inside go, but you're already here. And then the girl outside replies with, can't argue with that logic. Oh, by the way, Sakai's pregnant. Yeah, sorry, but if the anime doesn't care enough to make a big deal out of it, I'm not going to make a very big deal out of it either. Now, I love this scene because this is Makoto going through his phone, thinking about how bored he is right now. He's like, man, life is hard, man. Oh, throw this book at the wall. That'll show that wall. Nobody to bone. One of my girlfriends is pregnant. The other one's lifeless doll and won't sleep with me. Oh, life is hard, man. You're coming over, Otome? Hey, why do you still have clothes on? Actually, I just came over here to call you a prick. Oh, great Lord Jesus, hear my plea. Send a girl to sleep with me. Yes! The Lord is good.
誠くんのためになあ、おい誠くんのお役に立ちたくて
You know, school days, this scene would probably mean a whole lot more if Makoto literally had a single other choice. He's got one girl that's pregnant, one girl that will not talk to him anymore, one girl that has come to her senses, and one girl in France, and 3 girls that won't sleep with him because they're afraid of getting pregnant. Yeah, real stand-up guy you've given us. Well, at least he came to a decision. It looks like he's finally, at long last, through 11 episodes of pure torture, chosen Katsura. Aww, look how happy she looks. But the real question is, how exactly is Sakai gonna take this?
政治降りた夢は
I'm sorry if you're disappointed that I didn't make a bigger deal out of that, but honestly, if you want a great edit of that scene, right now, go watch Anime Zone's review of this anime. I think he sums it up the best. On the bright side, it looks like Katsura's taking this rather well. Okay. Aside from the decapitated head in the bag. What's important right now, though, is that they're there for each other. They can use each other to work through the problems, the mental abuse that came from being with somebody like Makoto. Abortion! Ah ha ha! There was no baby in there. And last but certainly not least, we get one extremely serene shot of the insane Katsura cuddling Makoto's decapitated head on a yacht. The end. Nice boat. Did you catch that? Nice boat, because they're on. That never happened. Let's wrap this up. So, would I recommend this to anybody? No, I wouldn't. I mean, if you're looking for something slice of lifey, then there's so much better anime out there. If you're looking for something dramatic, there's better anime out there. Granted, yeah, the animation is pretty nice. I'll give them that. It looks really good. The voice acting isn't terrible, even though the characters are pretty terrible. The voice actors themselves, they are not that bad. I really can't see why you would watch something like this over something else. The only reason I could see somebody watching this is watching it for the surprise ending. And honestly, to be honest, the ending isn't worth the 12 episodes. It's just not. Let me put that into perspective for you. The ending, or at least the ending after the surprise, is about 10 minutes. You have to watch 11 and a half episodes to get to this point. That's like 220 minutes to watch 10 minutes of good anime. I'm sorry. I just can't say it's worth it. If you, like I say all the time, try it out before you diss it just because I don't like it, if you really want to. And granted, there are probably people out there that will like this, especially if the whole romance going into suspense thing is their thing. I just can't see why they would watch this over another anime that does the same thing. Another thing that people are talking about is that this is a parody of harem anime? No. I'm sorry, you can't pass this off as some sort of parody of harem anime. Even if that's what they intended it to be, it failed. So overall, I'm not going to give a number score because number scores are super duper retarded, but I will thank you for watching. And please join me next time as I look at an anime that's just like this, but good. I know, you're sitting there like, but how can something be like this and be good? You'll find out. Ciao.
So, a few obvious things with that. First of all, no idea what was going on with my shirt. I had it unbuttoned in some, like some Fabio model, and then it was kind of buttoned in some. It was completely buttoned by the end. You'll also probably notice that the lighting in my room changed every once in a while, and that's because I filmed it over the course of 2 days and didn't bother to do anything about the lighting. Such an innocent time back then. But anyways, another thing I tried before that was commentating. I had a blog channel where I went and I put up a few videos whenever I had like a rant or something I wanted to do, and one of the things that I wanted to try my hand at was commentating, mainly because commentators are one of the things that I watch the most. The first and last time I ever tried this was with somebody named Big Al 2K6. I don't know if he's still around, but when I was doing my first few channels, he was a really big deal. And he made a video coming out and attacking Capcom's version of Mega Man 10. I didn't think his complaints were very grounded or very well thought out, so I went and I did a live commentary on it. Keep in mind, I did kind of like Big Al 2K6. I wasn't just straight out flaming him. I just thought he wasn't being very fair with his criticisms, and his points weren't very well thought out, so I did a commentary. Another thing to keep in mind is I am a very sarcastic douchebag sometimes. With all that in mind, I present to you Kudou's first and last live commentary.
Greetings, YouTube. It is I, newcomer Cyberlink, and today I have for you a commentary. This isn't necessarily going to be a commentary channel, but every once in a while I'll probably feel like doing one. Such as now. Now this guy I'm going to be doing a commentary on calls himself Big Al Forever 2K6. In fact, if you're watching this, you've probably already heard of him. This is going to be on his thoughts on the upcoming Mega Man 10. I'm not really the biggest Mega Man fanatic, but I do know a bit about it, and I do know I want to say a few things about his thoughts. So, without further ado, start.
Okay. Not a lot of people. Several people have been asking me to do this video. Mega Man 10 is coming out for WiiWare, and people want to know what I think about it. Well, first of all, I was completely expecting this. I knew right away there was going to be a Mega Man 10.
Well, of course you expected Mega Man 10 to come out. Anybody who's ever even heard of Mega Man knows that Mega Man 10 was on its way. I mean, after how grossingly successful Mega Man 9 was, we're probably going to be stuck with new Mega Man games for quite a while. I mean, you didn't really discover the cure for cancer or anything, Captain Obvious. You don't really have to seem so smug about your discovery that there was going to be a new Mega Man game.
Even though there's already a Mega Man 10 in the works by a group of fans, mainly Megaphil X and N64 Mario, I believe, and already they're almost. I'm assuming they're almost done with it because they got all the levels and the music and everything, and they already got I don't know if they got a story put together, but so far it's looking great, guys. So I can't wait to play it when it comes out. But here's the thing that worries me about Mega Man 10. One, it's an 8-bit. Now, I know what you're thinking, babe. I thought you loved 8-bit games. I do. I thought, putting Mega Man 9 in 8-bit was perfect. I mean, people wanted a new Mega Man game, but with the original graphics engine, 8-bit, and they gave it to them. And I thought Mega Man 9 was a great game. It was hard as balls, but it was still a great game. And now they're coming up with Mega Man 10, but that one is going to be an 8-bit too. Now my question is, what's wrong with enhancing the graphics a little bit for the sequel? I mean, they didn't have to make they didn't have to put it in like a Mega Man 8 or Mega Man 7 graphics. I mean, hell, they could have just did what Konami's doing with all their other titles, the Rebirth series, and just made a whole new palette.
Of course it's going to be an 8-bit, you moron. I don't know Mega Man in and out, but I do know that Mega Man's 1, 2, and 3 are probably the most popular in the series. And guess what? They were in 8-bit. Therefore, they brought back the style in Mega Man 9 so that people would get nostalgic about how awesome the old games were and how awesome Capcom is for bringing them back. I can't think of a single good reason for them to start updating the graphics. In fact, if they start updating the graphics now, they'll probably lose the nostalgic feeling that all of the players have gotten. So, I don't know, it just seems weird that a Mega Man fan would try to fix what isn't broken.
Instead of just, making it an 8-bit again. And, but that's not a big issue.
Of course not, which is probably why you shouldn't have mentioned it in the first place.
My real issue is Sheep Man.
So? I mean, come on, think back to all the Mega Man you've played in your life. Remember Dive Man? What about Bright Man? Does Hard Man ring a bell?
They have revealed one of the bosses to be Sheep Man. Really, Capcom? Really? You're that fucking lazy?
Hard Man.
Really? Sheep Man? This isn't a joke. It was in the latest issue of Nintendo Power.
You're still subscribed to Nintendo Power.
This isn't a joke. This is real. The first boss they came out with was Sheep Man. And he attacks you by throwing thunderclouds at you.
Cloud laser cannon? You're seriously complaining about a cloud laser cannon? Electrified cloud bursts. Have you thought of how cool that power is going to be to take and use in the actual game? I mean, does anybody out there think that electrified cloud bursts is a dumb ability to have? I didn't think so.
Really, Capcom? I mean, I hope to God the Robot Masters aren't going to be animal themed, because that shit only works with the X series. But
you think so? I don't know. I'd kind of like to see a Mega Man game where all of the Robot Masters had one central theme. That's just my opinion, though.
Another thing that makes me laugh about this new game coming out is excuse me, I have a bit of a cold. The plot. The basic plot is this. A flu virus is infecting all the robots, making them overheat and die. And it's up to Mega Man to find a cure. So basically, swine flu has invaded the Mega Man universe now.
Yeah. Remember when the outbreak got so bad that all of our toasters and vacuum cleaners overheated and died? Well, it's just like Mega Man 10.
Actually, you know what would be funny if they did, Sheep Man, Cow Man, Bird Man, Pig Man. Now you have something to blame the flu virus on.
Wouldn't that be hilarious? Anybody? No? Am I the only one laughing at his dumb joke? Next scene.
But, in all seriousness...
That nugget of poetic plot writing wasn't serious?
People give Mega Man 6 shit for having a horrible lineup of Robot Masters. This is just one, Sheep Man. I am thoroughly convinced that, they come out, they come together for a meeting. Hey guys, we need to come up with new bosses for the new Mega Man game. I want you to brainstorm in your office. And they go back to their office and they're like, fuck, we can't think of anything. Pen Man!
Wait a minute. That makes no sense. So you think that the head of Capcom was like, now go my minions, I must have more Mega Man villains. And everybody went back to their office, and somebody looked around their office and found a sheep. The devil kind of office buildings have you been to?
He shoots poisonous ink at you.
Poisonous ink? What's wrong with poisonous ink? That would be an awesome ability to have. In fact, it would blow my mind with awesomeness.
CD Man. He throws CDs that act like boomerangs. Yeah, that's perfect.
And boomerang CDs? Can you imagine how cool boomerang CDs would be to use in the game? That would be just... You are the only person I know that can somehow find lameness in boomerang CDs and poisonous ink.
Fuck! USB drive man. He downloads illegally from Napster.
Well, now you're just being retarded to prove your point. Well, it's too little too late. You already gave us poisonous ink and boomerang CDs.
Fuck, we can't think of anything, guys! But, I mean, look at this. Look at it. This is... Look at the lineup that the fan-made game already has. Jetman...
You've gotta be effing with me. There's no way. That's the joke. Right there. Just look at the list of Mega Man villains. Glue Man by himself makes Sheepman look like absolute plot writing gold. And the Rainbow Man right there pretty much sums up your thoughts and this list of Mega Man villains. Gay. Sorry. I will give you one thing, though. Half of these Robot Masters are pretty cool. That includes Jetman, Nitro Man, Tank Man, and Comet Woman. But really, you can't look me in the eye and tell me that Yo-Yo Man, Nail Man,
You want me to step on that? No.
come on,
No.
come on,
No.
Glue Man,
You stuck?
and Rainbow Man
Yay!
are good Robot Masters. You just can't. What is wrong with you? You complain about Sheep Man.
Tank Man, Nail Man, Nitro Man, Rainbow Man, Comet Woman, Yo-Yo Man, Glue Man, and Nail Man. Did I already say Nail Man? Whatever. They already have an awesome looking... That was Rob's fault, not mine, I swear to God. But they already have an awesome looking lineup of Robot Masters.
Okay, kudos to you, my friend, for being able to say that with such a straight look on your face.
And all Capcom can come up with is fucking Sheep Man.
Yeah, why would they have Sheep Man? Why wouldn't they put in enemies like Glue Man and Nail Man? I mean, everybody out there who's been, I don't know, even the smallest fan of the series, let's play a little game. First, I'm going to show you a few pictures of what Big Al thinks is lame. Then I'm going to show you a few pictures of what Big Al thinks is cool. And you at home can decide which one of us is right. I rest my case.
Oh my god. So those skits were pretty stupid, huh? So yeah, like I said before, my old stuff wasn't very good, but I think it's important to keep things like that around. When it comes to content creation like this, knowing where you came from is part of growing and making where you're going a lot better. But that's enough of that. I think that's about all I have for you today. If you actually managed to stick through to the end of the video, I am impressed. You are a true fan, and I hope you're looking forward to whatever I come up with next. Till then, sit tight, stay tuned, and here's to another 1,000. Right, and one more thing. Enjoy your card games, nerds.